Okay, Bill, so we're here today to talk about ace tracking. Why don't we start with just a quick definition of exactly what is ace tracking?
You mean taking this card here and tracking it through the shuffle? Well, you know that there's normal loopholes, or I should say natural loopholes, in the riffle shuffle technique. It doesn't properly mix the cards. I can actually watch for an ace and a layout, identify cards that fall, previous to it, and follow it through the shuffle. And when the cards that fall previous to this ace start to reappear, I can gauge when this card is going to come back. If I can drop this into my hand and make a big bet, I can play with a 52% advantage.
Cool. Why don't you show us how it's done?
Probably one of the best ways to explain ace tracking is to analyze the riffle shuffle that we use in the casino today. As you see, we have a deck of cards here. It goes from ace through king and the four suits. I'll now perform a riffle shuffle, a box, and a third riffle shuffle. And once I spread these cards, let's examine them to see how they're intermixed. Closer examination will show a series of cards that basically are apart but are still in order. As you can see here, we're going to look at the spades with 5 of spades, the 6 of spades, the 7 of spades, the 8 of spades. Now, let's look at the diamonds. We have the queen of diamonds, the jack of diamonds, the 10 of diamonds, and the 9 of diamonds. As you can see, even though they're mixed up, they still stay in order. During a normal dealing sequence, the shuffle tracker goes ahead and spots his ace, and he looks for the 2 cards immediately before it, what happens to be the king of hearts and the queen of hearts. Examine this a little bit more closely with the cards spread on the table. What he's going to look for is the queen of hearts to appear before the king of hearts, before the ace of spades. After we complete one riffle shuffle, the cards will be separated by anywhere from 1 to 3 cards. As you can see, the order still stays intact. Now let's perform a second riffle shuffle. And you will see that the cards spread out even farther, although the order still remains the same. Now comes the tricky part. This is where the advantage player has to find the sequence of cards in their reappearance. First he's looking for his key card, and there it comes, the first one, the queen of hearts. Now we know that the king of hearts should be anywhere from 4 to 6 cards from here. And there's the king of hearts. Now we know after this hand that the ace of spades should fall somewhere between 4 and 6 cards. Armed with this knowledge, the advantage player now bets more money because he knows he can play with a 52% advantage. By spreading 3 hands, he has a better chance of catching the ace.
Okay, Bill, I think by now everyone understands exactly what ace tracking is. So for the viewers out there, what about some tips in regards to game protection?
Well, one of the most important tips, Willie, is that you need to put a strip in your shuffle. I don't care if it's single deck, double deck, 6-deck shoe. If you have a manual shuffle, you need to perform a strip, because the only way you're going to break up the series of cards is, because the riffle shuffle is to put a strip in it. Another thing is you need to put the strip late in the deck, or excuse me, late in the shuffle, and I'll tell you why. I was at the Aladdin years ago, and we had a guy come in and he was using key card technique against us. And we had a strip, but we had the strip early in the shuffle. Well, the guy was beating us, I couldn't figure out why. Until it dawned on me, is we need to put the strip in late because of the fact that he's only looking to track a 3 or 4 card combination. You need a few riffle shuffles to break that grouping apart, so then the strip can hit into that and break it up. And one last thing I want to talk about, and we talked about this before with other techniques, watch for the big money when it hits the table. If you're seeing a lot of big money bets hitting the table and an ace appearing, you got something a little bit more to look at. And maybe you have a problem with either an ace location or ace tracking technique.
Thanks, Bill. Well, that's ace tracking.